hope you're well.
Hi, Vinny.
How are you looking squad-wise? How's that injury for Ben Godfrey? Do you know how serious it is yet? And is Dominic CalvertLewin fit?
Dominic's in the squad, so Dominic's been training for the last few days. Ben came back from his scan this morning and will be a 4 to 5 week injury, hamstring injury, we hope, without any issues. Decore is still probably 3 to 4 weeks away. Fabian Delph is 4 to 5 weeks away, to give you all the rundowns.
And Dele Alli and Van der Beek straight into the squad?
Yeah, they're in the squad. I was pleased that they could see a performance that they saw the other day and the way we want to go. They've been great in training, integrated on the training pitch and off the training pitch as lads. So it's very important we're a tight unit. As the players showed the other day, there's competition in this squad now, which is the only way it can be at this level. So great to have them both in, and they're in the squad.
Just finally, from me, Frank, on Dele as well, because he's received a lot of support from the fans, because he's been criticised by former pros, a former England manager, about things that have nothing to do with football. What have you made of that?
I've got actually. I've heard some of the reaction, and I've got a lot of respect for everyone who's spoken, ex-players, people that I respect and admire, and Ali McCoy, Alan Brazil, these people, Glenn Hoddle. That I would never go against their word. But when you're working closely with players, I'm working with Dele. My personal opinion is that I don't care what car he drives, what clothes he wears, as long as I get a lad that comes to training every day, wants to improve every day, respects the club, respects his teammates, and then produce, and give everything to produce. And I think, the modern day has moved on and it's changed. We all have to be very aware of that. And again, I'm not hitting back at any form of observation, because everyone's allowed their own opinion. But I can only deal with what's in front of me. And when I just mentioned there that Dele and Doni are both great lads, I mean it. And maybe Doni wears an overcoat that's longer than what Dele wears, a different kind of jacket. That doesn't bother me, as long as they produce on the pitch. Then I'm very happy with that. Everyone has their own individual personality. To try and handcuff that or restrict that, I think could be detrimental. So as I say, as long as players do the right behaviours when it comes to football and doing the right things, I've got no worries.
Frank, it's obviously really positive news about Dominic CalvertLewin. How important a role do you see him playing this season and beyond that?
Well, with a player like Dominic, when you get offered a job like this, you get excited about the challenge as a whole, and then you go to the squad and you get excited about working with players. Because I've gone up against Dominic, I watched him from the outside. I like his attitude, his demeanour. Without knowing him, I've found him great in the week I've been here. And as a player, the talent that he has and the attributes he has, I love. So I'm very pleased that he's here and I'm able to work with him. I'm pleased that he's fit now. Do we have to be a bit careful with him in these early stages? Maybe. I haven't seen the injury. I know he's out for a while and has come back and now a little setback. So I'll manage that situation. But in terms of the player himself, really excited to work with him.
Do you see Doni and Dele as players that can complement one another? What plans do you have for them this season?
Yeah, I do, because I wouldn't bring them in if I didn't think they could complement one another in the same team. It was an area of the pitch and that I felt that we needed to strengthen. They're two, in their own right, individually, I think very, very good players, intelligent players with different styles themselves, different attributes. So if we're going to be flexible in our system going forward, which at times I will want to be, then I think they certainly can play together, and we can certainly complement it with the players we already have here. I'm not here to lean on those two too much, because I know I have to respect the whole squad. We saw a performance the other day that showed that there's a lot to this squad outside of new signings. But yes, they can complement each other, and of course that's the work now.
Sorry, Dave.
Gotcha, Joe. All right, good, thank you.
Good. Going back a couple of years, Dele was one of the most exciting young players in Europe, wasn't he? And I think he overtook some of your goal scoring records and so on. Can you see him getting back to that level, and what can you do to help him?
Well, I don't want to put a line or a target on it, because he was at an extremely high level. We all know that, and I loved watching him play. He was so effective in the way he played. So I think where we are now, the last thing I want to do is sit here and say this is where we're going to get to. But what is clear is that a player of his age at 25 who has those talents that we all saw, those talents are there. So we have to look at the reasons around it as to how we can help him get back there. And I talk about sometimes coaching and managing and as a staff being a service to the players. There's not a better example of having to be that in terms of what can we do for Dele, what can the environment do for Dele individually, how do we get him in the team and happy, and that might be a process. I certainly don't want to sit here and say this will happen tomorrow. Dele will be doing this in 3 weeks' time. But he's a talented boy. He's come to a new environment. He's settled in very quickly in these days with his teammates. And the reason I brought him is because I want to see those qualities that you spoke about 2 or 3 years ago. And I believe that we can get them out of him. So, yeah, that's where we're aiming for. But I don't want to set absolute targets on him.
And just finally, with Dele and Doni too, do you think there's some element of the frustration of not having much game time is going to be a real positive for you? Because they're going to be really bursting to play, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. They can be bursting to play on both fronts. They've both got their different stories. Doni, I think from the outside, I don't know the details of Manchester United other than they've got a very big squad, and Doni's now with us, and he's a very talented boy. I see that in training in the last week. Very intelligent. I knew that when I teamed against him in the past. And yeah, if they're the bit between their teeth, great. But, also we have other players in the squad as well, so it'll be a case of push yourself to get in the team and show, because we're still Everton Football Club. It's a big team here as well, but I brought them in to come and play, but they have to make sure that they earn the right. And as I say, in week 1, they've shown both in training the reasons why I brought them here. So I look forward to seeing that on the pitch.